in sequence mode and have out worksheet 8. Okay? 8 application problems. It doesn't matter, but yep, we're not doing anything with trig, so it doesn't matter if you're in degrees or radians. All right. So just quick before we start the rest of this, what's the difference between, I don't know where that came from, arithmetic and geometric? Yes, so geometric, there's a common ratio. Arithmetic, whoops, you're adding, so there's a common difference. Can anybody give me any of the formulas? Which one are you doing? Okay. Okay. What's the same formula, but if it's, yeah. Good job. Okay. And just, those are explicit, right? Recursive for both would be tell me the first term and then what? The previous term. What are you doing on this side? Yep, just adding. And over here, you'd say a sum 1 is something, and to get to the next term, I take the previous term and. Okay. Now, what else did we do yesterday or the day before? We started talking about sums of some of the terms, okay? What's the sum formula when it's arithmetic? Remember, this is the one where we kind of could figure it out. First one and the last one. Then because you need to know how many pairs you had. So if there's n terms, how many pairs are you going to have? N divided by 2. Okay. This one is not so intuitive. This one is just good things Hofbauer's giving you a formula, right? S sub n for geometric is the first term times 1 minus r to the nth, 1 minus r, and you will most likely need extra parentheses around r. We good? Okay, nice done. Nice job of reviewing. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you that a lot of sequences are neither arithmetic nor geometric. Okay? So let's see if we can figure out what this one is. The enrollment at Tennessee State University is currently 35,000. Each year the school graduates 25% of its students and will enroll 6,500 new students. Okay? What will be the enrollment 8 years from now? So is this 1 year from now? No, that's now. So if we want to do 8 years from now and call that term 8, what might we call this? Yes, term 0. And remember, your calculator uses U, not A, just so you know. Okay, so maybe we should go with that today, because we're going to do this one in the calculator. We're going to do U sub 0. Okay. How do we show that they graduate 25,000? 25%. Oh my goodness. Let me. Okay, and then what? Is that mean, is that going to be the answer? Can you do 35,000 times 0.25? Is that how many people are left at this school? Okay, so 100% minus 25%. The fastest way would be to say 75% remain. So we could multiply by 0.75, okay? So we're going to multiply by, whoops, can't write, 0.75. Now, then they're going to enroll some new students in the fall, right? So they're going to add 6,500. So can anybody come up with a recursive formula? we can do a sub 0 equals 3,500. And every term after that, I'm using U because we're going to type this in calculator, and the calculator uses U. That's what we're going to want to find in a minute. I'm talking about writing a recursive formula, just a formula. What would it look like? N minus 1, good. So maybe we should just generate the first year. Okay, let's see what we do. We take 35,000 was the population last year. We multiplied it by 0.75 because they graduated. What did we get then? Okay, and then the new class enrolled. So at the beginning of the new school year, we have 32,750. Is that right? Okay, so what did we do to the previous term? We multiplied by 0.75 or 0.75, and then we added 6,500. Does the order matter? Would it matter if we added the 6,500 first and then multiplied by 0.75? Yes, it would be different. Do we need to put anything in so that it does it in the right order? It's going to do multiplying first anyway, right? All right, so let's try this. We could keep going by hand, but the calculator will do it. We only did one example the other day, excuse me, of where we put it in recursively. So if we're in sequence mode, we go to y equals. No plots on. Plot 1, 2, 3, make sure those are off. We're going to do sequence here. Does anybody remember what n min meant? It's the term, yes, the term number. So not the term value, but the number. So we want to call the first term 0. Now, this new operating system is beautiful because it now says this is where they want you to enter that value in. If you have the older operating system, it says something really weird here. It says U sub n min, which just means U sub 0. Okay, so we're going to go down here. And what was our 0? 35,000? Okay, we're going to put this in recursively. Now, the U is important. Does anybody remember where we got the U? Yes, second 7 to get that little baby U there. Okay, and then it is parenthesis n minus 1. Good job. And it doesn't look like a subscript, but it understands that it is. So we have the previous term. Then what are we supposed to do? 0.75 plus 6,500. No, it'll do it, okay, because it understands. If we go to the table now, dun, dun, dun. Oh, I've scrolled down. Did it work for us for term 1? We did term 1 together, remember? It worked? So after 8 years, the population will become 26,901. Now, this is kind of interesting. When you do this, some leave and some get added back in thing. It generally reaches an equilibrium. Do you see what's happening here? Eventually, yeah, sorry, used a chemistry word, but do you see eventually there's just 26,000. It's good because the same amount leaves as comes, and then it just will stay the same. All right, they didn't ask that question. I just wanted to show you that. So the final answer here was, tell me again. Oh, it wasn't a sum. It wasn't a sum, just kidding. 8 years from now. Now starts with a 9. Did you know that? Okay, what was it again? 26,901 students. Yep, studs, because I don't have room. Okay, we good? Number 2. Okay. A business makes a $10,000 profit during its first year. If the yearly profit increases $7,500 in each subsequent year, what will be the profit in the 10th year, and what will be the total profit for the, and it's cut off, it should be 10 years. Okay, 2 parts to this. So is this year 1 or not? Read carefully. Yeah, it says during its first year. So the first year it makes $10,000. Can you tell me what's going to happen then? The second year it's going to make, okay, so this is pretty clear that it's just going up by what? Okay, and that makes it what kind of sequence? Nice. So the D is 7,500. Okay. Now, what will the profit be in the 10th year? We don't need a sum yet, right? So how do we find the 10th year? U sub 10 equals 10,000 plus 7,500, Lindsay says, times n minus 1, which is going to be what? 10 minus 1, which should be 9. Oh, 10 minus 1 is 9. Yeah, can't write it that way. So by the 10th year, your business is making $77,500 profit. But that's just for that 1 year. We need the total for all 10 years as well. So this is U sub 10 is this answer right here. Yes, it is a summation. I'm going to just use a formula, not the summation notation. So I'm going to say the sum of 10 terms, okay? When it's arithmetic, how do we do that? First and last. What are the first and last? Okay. Times. What is n? I cannot stress enough. N is the number of terms. So n is 10 because we did some of the first 10 here. So does that make sense, guys? If you started pairing them off, remember how we added 100 plus 1, 99 plus 2, 98 plus 3. So we paired the first and last, and there would be a total of 5 pairs. So I don't know what that comes out. 400, 500. Total profit in 10 years. Did someone else get that number? Okay. So that's a question I could ask on a quiz because it's just arithmetic. The one before it, was this just arithmetic or just geometric? No. And I did not ask one like that on the quiz, okay? In the past, you ready for this? These questions are out of an old book. This was the 3rd lesson in the book. And you had to do sequence mode on the calculator to do those questions. So it's pretty challenging first chapter. All right, this is a question I could ask in a quiz. I might not make it quite so complicated. A lecture hall has 6 seats in the first row, 8 seats in the second row, 10 seats in the third row, and so on through row 12. So this was row 1, 2, 3. Okay, can we find out how many are in row 12? How would we do that? Okay, hang on. Yeah, then it goes on. It says rows 12 through 20 all have the same number of seats, but we'll go back to that part. How are we going to find row 12 or term 12? Okay, so D is 2, you're telling me? No, we're still on How many seats does row 12 have? We haven't read beyond that yet. So we're looking for term 12. So term 12 is just 6 plus 2 times 12 minus 1, right? Because we're using n equals 12. So we'd have 6 plus 2 times 11, which is 28. Okay. Now, rows 12 through 20 all have 28 seats. We got to figure out, though, this is where it gets a little, we got to think about this. Do we want to add up the first 12 rows? Because we're going to need a total eventually, right? Okay, if we add up the first 12 rows, when we go to add on some more, those are going to be rows 13 through 20. We can't count 12 twice, right? We just got to be careful. Okay. So which do you want to do first? The sum part? Okay. The sum of the first 12 terms would be, what's the first row? 6. The 12th row is 28 times, what are we totaling? How many rows? 12 divided by 2. So that would be 34 times 6. Thank you. Okay, that's the sum through row 12. This is the question we got wrong earlier today, so if somebody's typing and this is not matching, let me know. Because finally, after we finished the whole question, someone goes, that's not what I got. And I was like, oh, we messed it up. Okay, we now need row, okay, I'm going to use my fingers. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So there's still 8 more rows, right? You can't. What? Her question is, why can't we just solve for the 20th term? It doesn't, it says when you get to row 12, all the rows are the same. It doesn't keep going up by 2. Okay? Yes, that's all we're going to do now. There's 8 more rows, right? And each of those 8 more rows has 28 seats. Yes. And what does that come out? Okay, before, was this 224? Okay, 8 rows of 28 seats each is 224. So the total is just the 204 in the weird rows plus the 224 in all the same rows. So we got 428 seats. So it was a weird question because the back rows didn't keep increasing. Otherwise, would have been way easier. Yep. All right, love this question. If you're paid a penny on the first day of March, 0.01. On the second day of March, you're paid 2 cents, 0.02. On the third day, continues to double, so you're up to 4 cents. How many of you are going to go to work for this guy? Okay. You have to work all 31 days or you don't get it. How many of you are thinking, I'm going to be okay? I should do this. Okay, let's see what happens. ... Okay. First of all, let's figure out just what you'd make on day 31. And then let's figure out how much you will earn in the whole month of March, okay? It doesn't really ask us to find because we really could go straight to the sum. Because is this arithmetic or geometric? This is geometric where R is 2. Okay, but let's, for fun's sake, figure out what you make on the 31st day. How do you do that? Okay, first day, 2 to the 31 minus 1, or 30th power. So 0.01 times 2 to the 30th. When you get that number, will you just read me the digits? Don't try to tell me thousands because I can't. One more time. Okay, Scott said no, so we're going with, we don't have to share our wealth with Scott, okay? So $10 million just for that one day. You know what? Let's put this in our calculator just so we can see at what day we'd actually show up to work or would be worth it. We're going to show up because we want to get to day 31. But what would the equation be? Can we just put this one in as explicit? So we don't need to put in a term number. You can leave it 0 or 1. It doesn't matter because we're going to go back up here and we're going to put in 0.01 times 2 to the power of, no, we want a formula, n minus 1. Oh, forgot my n. So, it doesn't matter. You can change this to 1. It won't matter because we're not going to put it, we put in as explicit formula, so it doesn't matter what the term is. But if we go back up now to the table, okay, so the first day I made a penny. What's the first day is really worthwhile showing up to work? $40 a day would be okay with you? Even if it's an 8-hour day, just what? 15, 16, those are good days. By the 20th day, you happy to show up? $5,000. Okay. Now, when you get out to day 31, you got to scroll over here to even see the amount because otherwise it's given to you in scientific notation. All right, back to the question. How do we find the total he earned? What's the sum formula we need? I'm going to write the formula on here because we just learned this one yesterday. Sum is the first term times 1 minus r. Oops, the n is inside the parenthesis, right? Over 1 minus r. Okay, what are we going to do for this question? The sum of how many days in March? 31. So the first day was, yep, just 0.01. And what is r? Okay, I made a big deal about putting extra parentheses around the ratio. The only time you don't have to is if it's a positive whole number, so you really don't need extra. 2 to the 31 over 1 minus 2. It's a lot of money. 0.01 times 1 minus 2. Yeah, this is my salary every month. 2 to the 31, right? Divided by 1 minus 2. So we wound up with our total income for the month was 214,748,3647. $21 million. Did you divide it by negative? That's -1. Did you close the parentheses in the right spots? by getting what? Your sequence or your... Anybody else? Because these are the things you need to find out now, right? Not well on the test. Okay, I had the minimum number of parentheses in there, okay? You can't go less. All right, number 5. A monument is constructed by layering 60 bricks on the ground or base level. A second row has 2 fewer bricks. Then a third row with 2 fewer bricks is centered and so on till the top row has 10 bricks. How many bricks are used in the monument? Okay, we are going to eventually do 60 plus 10 because that's the first and last term, but do we know how many rows there are or how many terms? So we have to figure that out first. Arithmetic or geometric? Okay, we need to figure out what term number 10 is. How are we going to do that? Well, here's the formula. And we know we're looking for the value at the end to be what? What variable am I looking for here? N, yes, good job. I need the term number N. So that's not going to get replaced. We're going to solve for it. The last term is 10. The first term is 60. The difference is, be careful, -2. Okay, solve that however you want. What'd you get? Should be 26. Would you distribute this to become positive? Did it that way. Okay. This is 62 over here now. So if you subtract 62, that's not the way I did it at all, but I still got 26. Everybody okay? Okay, we found the term number. So this is term 26. There's 26 rows of bricks. Now what do we need? Yes, so what do we have to do? Sum, and it's arithmetic, so it's the sum of 26 rows would be, there we go. So 70 times 13 is 910. Did I did it right? Did I did it right? Oh my goodness. Did I did it? Is that right or not? Someone checking my math? Okay. All right. Number 6. Tuition at a university is now $3,000 per year. So that's current according to them. And maybe it's a Rock Valley. I don't know. Even Rock Valley, you can't take a full load. All right. Will increase $150 a year in subsequent years. If a student starts school now, spends 4 years as an undergraduate, 3 years in law school, and 5 years earning a PhD, how much tuition will she have paid? So 4 years, 3 more is 7, and 5 more is 12 years of school. And what do we want to know? So we want the total, right? Is this arithmetic or geometric or neither or? So it's just going up straight 150, right? What percent is that, by the way? 150 divided by 3,000? 5% it's going up. That's that's a pretty reasonable guess that tuition would go up 5% every year. But 3,000 is just cheap to start with for this question, right? All right. If it's arithmetic, what do we have to be able to find the sum of 12 terms? We have to have the 12th term. So we need to find the 12th term will be what? 3,000 plus 150. 12 minus 1 or 11 times. Somebody going to give me that 12th term? Oh, this is supposed to be 12 minus 1, yeah. 4650? Well, that's a more reasonable amount for a year, right? So maybe this is this year, and we'll go backwards on tuition. Oh, it's only 4650? Yeah. Okay, still. Yeah, I just can't hear or write. Okay, now what? How do we find the sum of those 12 years? So the first term plus the last year she went times what? 12 over 2 or 6. $45,000. Okay. Anybody think you can actually get 12 years of college tuition for that amount of money? I don't know who goes to school for college for 12 years anyway, but I went a lot, but I didn't go 12 years. All right. Are we good? Oh, there was the last one? Why did I think there was? Yeah, there's only, did I say 8 at the beginning of class? Oh, guess what? Surprise! There's only 6. All right. You are, so for your homework, you should work on making sure you have all your homework done for sequences. If you want more practice on sequences, I would do worksheet 9. But if you're feeling okay with that, then start working on that SLO stuff, right? So you can do no homework tonight is fine. Just come to class tomorrow and we'll start working on the SLO practice. You go through, do what you want, and then we'll practice together on Monday, all right?